They call it the steal of the century. Arsenal didn't just beat Tottenham on the pitch.
You go to Tottenham, mate.
They beat them at the negotiation table too.
I feel okay because he's destined for bigger things, and I love my Palace, but if he goes to Arsenal, he will flourish and he'll gain more England caps. He wasn't a good fit for Spurs, but I think Arsenal is a much better fit.
Spurs thought they had an agreement in place. They thought Eberechi ease was theirs. But at the very last moment, Arsenal stepped in, dropped £67.5 million on the table and brought the Crystal Palace star to the Emirates.
Well, look, today is a great day to be an Arsenal supporter. I mean, they have pulled off a real transfer coup because Eberechi was on his way to Tottenham, but at the last minute, Arsenal decided to match Spurs' offer. Also, it's very important that the player himself, growing up, he was an Arsenal supporter. He's always wanted to play for Arsenal. So his wish was very important in this as well. But Arsenal moved at the 11th hour, matched Spurs' bid, 60 million plus around 7.5 million in add-ons.
Eberechi is not just another signing, he is a statement. He is the kind of player who can turn a good team into an unstoppable one. At 27, he arrives at the peak of his powers, fresh from carrying Palace to their first ever major honour, scoring in 6 games in a row, including both the FA Cup semi-final and the final at Wembley.
Bought him some space, just effortlessly gliding forward here. Eberechi!
That is not just form, that is destiny. Now imagine him in red and white. On the right flank you've got Bukayo Saka, 12 goals, 14 assists last season.
Found by Trossard, now Saka, oh, it's beautifully done!
Leading the line you've got Victor Gyökeres, a machine with 54 goals and 13 assists in Portugal.
I think people can actually underestimate how tough the Portuguese league is. There's a lot of good teams in that league, and he went over there, scored an absolutely insane amount of goals, deserved his move to Arsenal, and he didn't play that long really, did he, in the Man United game? I think give him time. He's got to have time.
It's not a full pre-season either, is it?
Well, yeah, there's that as well.
And sliding into the left channel, Eberechi 14 goals, 11 assists, and a catalogue of wonder goals that light up any stadium.
Look, from last season, it shows how he likes to operate in that left half space. Often supported by Tyrick Mitchell as Palace's left wing back. And what that says to me is that it feels like it means that Arteta will need an overlapping fullback to support Eze in attack to get the best out from him. So, Lewis Skelly, holding the whip, allows Eze to move centrally where he can provide a creative threat that Arsenal have often lacked in these areas.
Put those numbers together and you're staring at 84 goal contributions in one season. That's not just an attack, that's a storm. For the last 2 years, Arsenal have built their reputation on having the best defence in the Premier League, maybe even in Europe.
Your pillar of strength is your 2 centre-backs, trust me. Saliba and Gabriel are the best partnership in the league. I've been saying it for the last 2 and a bit years. They are the best partnership in the Premier League. Van Dijk's the best centre-back, I think. But the best partnership is these 2. They cover each other. One goes in, one goes short. They trust each other. They cajole, they push each other on. They look like they're battling to be the best between them, let alone everybody else.
But Mikel Arteta has just balanced the scales. He has built a backline made of stone, and now he's unleashed a front 3 that can terrify the world. This isn't just a signing. This is the start of something monstrous. And now we need to talk about how Eberechi will improve Arteta's Arsenal. Eze fits naturally into the left side of Arsenal's attack, but his role will be far more complex than simply hugging the touchline. Right now, Arsenal are very right side heavy. Bukayo Saka and Martin Odegaard dominate possession as creators, while Declan Rice and Gabriel Martinelli often act as runners who break into the box. The balance needs correcting, and Eze might just be the answer. Yes, he's not a traditional left winger. He's right-footed and at his most dangerous when drifting inside through central areas. That means the role of the left back becomes vital Whether it's Riccardo Calafiori or Miles Lewis-Skelly, they'll have to provide constant overlaps, in the same way Ben White supports Saka on the opposite flank. It won't click overnight, but the potential is frightening. Eze could also be used as a second creator, next to Odegaard, especially against stubborn low blocks. At Palace, he showed the same traits as Saka, demanding the ball, dribbling past lines, and destabilising defences with individual skill. That's exactly what Arsenal have lacked in matches against deep-sitting sides, the kind of games that have cost them points in the last 2 seasons.
It was a very disappointing weekend, obviously. In the previous 15 games, so we have won 10 and draw 5, exactly the same as Liverpool, with exactly the same goal difference, which is plus 23. So we've been extremely consistent for the last 3.5 months, considering everything that we've been through, and we have generated that momentum. And it was that weekend where we have to do what we have to do again, once more, nothing different to the previous 15. And we got that defeat, and on top of that, they win. So when you are trying to build that momentum and we put in so much into it, especially with the circumstances that we have, it was a very hard one to take. The reality is there's so many games to play.
The problem became clear after Granit Xhaka's departure. He used to share creative duties with Odegaard. Rice has covered much of the defensive and structural work, but using him as a permanent number 6 with Eze and Odegaard ahead as dual number 10s could unlock Arsenal in the same way Man City did, with De Bruyne and Silva behind Fernandinho. Arteta has even tested this idea before playing Rice deeper in a 2-3-5 shape, or surrounding him with dual creators. Now with Eze, the blueprint feels complete. But here's the twist. Eze could even step into Odegaard's shoes when needed. The Norwegian is brilliant in tight control and organisation, but he isn't as effective in open transitional games. Eze, on the other hand, thrives when the game breaks loose. His dribbling, creativity, and ability to link with Saka or Gyökeres could give Arsenal a completely different flavour in attack. And then there's the wild card, false 9. Remember how fluid Arsenal looked with Gabriel Jesus knitting everything together? His injury robbed Arteta of that option. Eze has the movement, the finishing, the ball carrying, and most importantly, the flair to play that role. He can drop deep, drag defenders, link the midfield, and still arrive in the box. Who knows, maybe the striker Arsenal have been searching for was Eberechi Eze all along. Now imagine Arsenal's new trident, Bukayo Saka, Victor Gyökeres, and Eberechi Eze.
We've got to give this guy some serious credit. The way he has been operating this transfer window, it's been stealth and it's been brilliant. We have got ourselves a serious operator when it comes to transfer dealings. This guy could get a job at MI6.
Saka is the most predictable in the best way possible. He'll stretch the pitch wide on the right, cut inside onto his left, and either shoot or slide passes into space.
Bukayo Saka twisting!
Gyökeres is the battering ram down the middle, always crashing into defenders, holding the ball up and forcing centre-backs to step out of line. And Eze, he's the chaos factor, the piece that ties it all together. Eze's ability to drift inside means Gyökeres won't be isolated. At Sporting, Gyökeres thrived when midfielders made runs off him in... Exactly what Eze does naturally.
There's Joel Ward. This is great feet. It's a great ball through as well. Major chance here for Crystal Palace.
He receives the ball, glides past one challenge, and suddenly Gyökeres has space to attack the box, or Saka has a free lane on the opposite flank. That's nightmare fuel for defenders. Think about it. Stop Saka, and Eze pops up in central pockets. Cut off Gyökeres and Eze carries the ball himself. Double up on Eze, and Saka is one-on-one. It's the kind of offensive triangle Pep Guardiola built at City with Haaland, De Bruyne and Foden, except this time it's Arteta crafting his own version in North London.
What I find interesting about Eze is, and this applies to both clubs, he's not walking into a starting position. At Spurs, we said they have a ton of winger attacking midfielder types. despite even Maddison's injury. And at Arsenal, it's the same thing, because you're competing with, I mean, we assume Odegaard and Saka will generally always play in the base lineup, as will Declan Rice. You know, you're competing for essentially one spot if you want to come in from the left with Martinelli, with Trossard, who looks like he's not getting a longer contract, but he's getting a little bit more money, so there's belief in him, with Madueke, with Ethan Ranieri, sticks around. That is a lot.
What makes this trio truly terrifying is variety. Gyökeres brings power, Saka brings precision, and Eze brings unpredictability. Together they could form the most complete front three in the Premier League One that doesn't just score goals, but bends defences until they snap. Eberechi Eze is the definition of fearless. When others fade under the weight of the big six, he rises. Last season alone, he left his mark on all of them. A strike against Chelsea in a 1-1 draw.
For a shot, broke out for Eze. Oh, he's curled it in for 1-1. Brilliant goal from Eberechi.
A goal against Arsenal in a 2-2 battle.
Eze off the ground, into the off the post and into the back of the net.
And a dagger to Tottenham in Palace's 2-0 victory.
Munoz squares it for Eze.
Even against Manchester City, the so-called unstoppable force, he scored in their 5-2 defeat and then came back to break them on the biggest stage of all.
And the cross comes in and they'll score through Eze, and Crystal Palace tap the ball into the net.
Because at Wembley in the FA Cup final, Eze delivered the greatest goal in Crystal Palace history. 16 minutes, a volley that cut through Guardiola's empire, and City fell 1-0. That moment turned him from talent into legend. This is what Arsenal are signing. A man who doesn't disappear in the chaos of the Premier League's giants, but one who feeds on it. Against the best, he becomes his best, and that's exactly the kind of weapon Arteta needs to chase glory. Liverpool are built like a storm. Mohamed Salah, still a machine of consistency, with over 200 goals in red, remains their sharpest sword. Around him, Hugo Ekitike brings raw pace and vertical threat, while Florian Wirtz is the conductor, a young genius who already dictates games with vision and final passes that slice defences open. Liverpool's attack is balance, the killer, the sprinter, the creator. Manchester United are chaos with teeth. Benjamin Šeško, the new giant, scored 21 goals in 64 games before arriving a striker born to finish and dominate the air. Next to him, Brian Mbeumo is fire on the flanks, with speed, pressing, and that left foot that punishes when defenders blink. Behind them, Matheus Cunha adds unpredictability, dribbling into tight pockets, never afraid to drive at backlines. United's trio are untamed energy, still raw but frightening when they click. Chelsea are danger wrapped in youth. Cole Palmer carried them last season with 18 goals and ice-cold penalties, showing leadership far beyond his years. João Pedro is a technical striker, clever in his movements, strong enough to bully centre-backs and subtle enough to combine. And then there is Estevão, the Brazilian jewel at just 18, already compared to legends, with dribbling that feels unfair. Chelsea's attack is not yet complete, but it is explosive, a storm waiting to mature. And then comes Arsenal. Bukayo Saka, their golden boy.
Bukayo Saka.
Would never sell him, he's homegrown.
How much money would you accept for your homegrown?
Never.
Let's say if I give you 150 million.
No.
200 million.
No.
250 million.
No.
300 million.
No.
$500 million.
No.
750 million.
No.
1 billion British pounds.
No.
Oh my day.
A winger with over 12 league goals last season, who has mastered the art of cutting inside and breaking games open. Victor Gyökeres, the beast from Sporting, who scored 54 goals in 52 matches last year, now ready to bring that brutality to England. And now, Eberechi Eze, the man who thrives under pressure, scoring against Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham, Manchester City, and delivering the goal of Crystal Palace's history in the FA Cup final. Together they are not just a trio, they are destiny. Saka with the consistency, Gyökeres with the hunger, Eze with the courage to shine against giants. Liverpool's storm, United's chaos, Chelsea's youth, all powerful. But Arsenal's frontline feels different. It feels inevitable, because while others boast talent, Arsenal now possess balance. The scorer, the creator, the fearless. A trident sharpened for titles, ready to cut through the big six and beyond. Okay, the trio led by Arsenal has definitely joined the Premier League's list of attacking powerhouses this season, and honestly, it's electrifying. Liverpool didn't just spend, they invested in fear itself. £116 million for Florian Wirtz, the undisputed king of midfield in Germany, crowned the best playmaker of the Bundesliga for 3 straight years.
And this kid is special.
This is the type of signing that is saying to the Premier League, Liverpool,
is here for sheer dominance, and they want to try dominate the league for years.
They're putting everyone on notice.
Yeah.
You know, when you watch some players play, and there's just something special about them. They've got that magic.
Yeah.
The way they strike the ball, how he doesn't need. He needs a moment's space just to get a shot off and find a pass. I think he's going to be magic.
A maestro who comes off a season of 16 goals and 15 assists, numbers that would be frightening even for a striker. And they didn't stop there. They went and dropped £79 million on Hugo Ekitike, the revelation of the Bundesliga, the boy who turned himself into a monster with 22 goals and 12 assists last season. His fire hasn't cooled. With Liverpool, he's already scored twice in 2 matches.
Here's Ekitike again, looking to provide one. He managed to get it what he had!
And then there's the pharaoh, Mohamed Salah, the man who refuses to age, who last season not only returned to his prime, but ripped it apart. 34 goals and 23 assists.
Is Mohamed Salah on course of the best individual Premier League season that's ever been seen?
Well, he could. You know, we know what level he's performing at. We know how incredible he's been and continues to be for Liverpool.
Liverpool's trident is terrifying. Wirtz, the mind. Ekitike, the fire. Salah, the executioner. Salah and Ekitike have already scored this season.
Salah will chase. And Salah, all on his own, support is arriving. Salah!
The message is clear. Klopp's legacy may be gone, but the storm at Anfield is only getting louder. And then comes Manchester City, where Pep Guardiola has forged a front line from nightmares. Erling Haaland, the Norwegian machine, already has 87 goals in 98 Premier League matches.
Come on, Haaland, just run at him.
He is inevitability made flesh, but Guardiola has armed him with partners that make the monster even deadlier. Tijani Reinders, the conductor of Serie A last season, who scored 15 goals and dictated games with surgical precision, and Ryan Cherki, France's golden prodigy, with 13 goals and 21 assists of his own.
Absolute quality, and from a City last year where you're looking at midfield of Gundogan and sometimes Nunez and Kovacic, now you've got different options. Tijani Reinders and Ryan Cherki that came on, looks silky, a real Man City player.
A creator who plays football as if painting with fire. The most terrifying detail, on Premier League matchday 1, all 3 scored. Haaland, Reinders and Cherki didn't need time to adapt. They announced themselves together, a chorus of destruction. City aren't rebuilding, they're mutating into something the league has never seen. Chelsea brings Samba and lightning. João Pedro, the hero of the Club World Cup, the man who shattered PSG in the final, already has 5 goals with Chelsea and looks like he's just getting started.
Either Bartoszagli or Terriciano to run off him, but that's a big call for Reece James because they make the 2-on-1. Watch Pedro when he gets the ball. He wants to get it right here.
Pedro Neto watched on from the sidelines as Esteban Alcácer. What a delivery! What a start to his Chelsea career for João Pedro, as he scores a 5th goal in 5 games for Chelsea.
Alongside him, Estevão, one of the most electric young players in the Premier League, a spark who burns defenders alive.
Here he is again in that position, Cucurella, and here is Palmer trying to lift it over the goalkeeper onto the bar and put in by Estevão. Welcome to Stamford Bridge.
And then there's Cole Palmer, the boy wonder turned leader, whose technique and composure make him the glue of this attack.
The cheeky Jaffe. He's got it back again. Oh, he scored again.
Together, the Stamford Bridge trio is raw chaos and beauty, an offence that can switch from samba rhythm to London steel in the blink of an eye. Chelsea might not have the brute numbers of Liverpool or City yet, but their unpredictability makes them a threat no one wants to face. Then comes Manchester United, a £200 million trio that roared into the season with a clear message: the Red Devils are back to compete. Brian Mbeumo, in the form of his life, shattered every expectation last season with 20 goals and 9 assists, turning expected goals into a joke.
That's very well dealt with by Jensen, who knows that he has the outball. What a pass! It's in towards Mbeumo. It is 4! A brilliant counter
attacking goal!
Alongside him is Matheus Cunha, the Brazilian wizard, the second top scorer of last season, and a man capable of Maradona-esque dribbles and long-range thunderbolts. And completing the trident is Benjamin Šeško, a striker who doesn't know how to score ordinary goals.
Olise with an underhit pass. This time it's Xavi who benefits, and he shovels it forward nicely. There's a slip from Urbik. Shoot, he says. Oh my goodness! What a goal! Benjamin Šeško does it again!
21 goals, 6 assists, each of them spectacular, each of them unforgettable. United's front three are chaos, power and artistry blended into one. Against Arsenal, against anyone, they've proven they can rip apart even the tightest defensive line. And then, looming above them all, Arsenal's holy trinity. Eberechi, the man of destiny. Bukayo Saka, the heir to Arsenal's mystique, the face of the new Gunners, already with 14 goals and 11 assists and carrying the weight of North London on his back. And finally the executioner, the Viking, Victor Gyökeres. 54 goals in 52 matches, a forward who doesn't forgive, who destroys centre-backs for breakfast and leaves goalkeepers praying. With Eze's magic, Saka's fire and Gyökeres' ruthless finishing, Arsenal possess the most lethal trio in England. At the Emirates, they don't just play football, they summon fear. This is the new Premier League battlefield. Liverpool, City, Chelsea, United, Arsenal, 5 armies, 5 front lines of destruction. But when the smoke clears, only one will hold the crown. With this transfer window, Arsenal are no longer outsiders. They are sitting at the same table as Liverpool, Chelsea and Manchester City, ready to fight for the Premier League crown. This is not just about their attacking trio, it's the completeness of the team. David Raya, the best goalkeeper in England, gives them a wall behind the defence. William Saliba, a colossus, anchors the backline, now reinforced with Gabriel Magalhaes, a monster who blends steel and intelligence. On the wings, Calafiori and Timber bring terrifying energy, engines that never stop running. In midfield, Arsenal boast the most balanced and powerful unit in England. Declan Rice, Zubimendi and Ødegaard. Strength, vision, leadership and creativity, all in one package. And when you put Saka and Eze just behind Gyökeres, you have chaos incarnate. This is a lineup with no weak link, no excuse, no flaw to target.
I think I'd agree with Andy. I think Liverpool are still the favourites, Man City, but I think Arsenal are right in there. I think Arsenal have got a brilliant goalkeeper, incredible defence, brilliant midfield. I think up front maybe they're not as good as some of their rivals, and they've got injury problems up front as well, for instance.
Mikel Arteta now has at his disposal the most complete squad Arsenal have ever seen in the Premier League era. For years, the club has dreamed of climbing back to the throne. Now with this squad, there is no more dreaming. Arsenal have everything they need to fight and to win. This isn't hope, this isn't potential. This is destiny knocking at the Emirates gates.